So, yeah. The Matrix. I haven't talked about this movie at all. The 1999 classic, starring Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, Hugo Weaving, about a chosen one who enters a deep, darker mindset, making the real world look like an illusion, fighting a bunch of agents while a bunch of cool visuals and stuff happened. Yeah, a lot of people consider this one of the greatest action movies, one of the greatest sci-fi movies ever made, and in fact, a lot of people at the time said this franchise was bigger than Star Wars. So there's a lot to write on with this franchise, and with the recent trailer drop for the fourth film in the franchise, all I can say is I did not care for this franchise at all.
What?
How can you even say that, Dad?
Didn't like it.
Peter, it's so good. It's like the perfect movie.
This is what everyone always says.
Yeah, this is coming from a very small minority, but I never got The Matrix. I didn't like it, I didn't hate it, I just don't understand it. I've honestly only sat through the first film and I've heard nothing but terrible things about the two sequels. So when it comes to this franchise, it's pretty much not my cup of tea. But hey, the action scenes are pretty cool. In fact, I'll even come out and say that I'm not even the biggest fan of the Wachowskis. And if I were to compare filmmakers to, say, the most famous Renaissance painters, the Wachowskis are pretty much the Picassos of Hollywood. Confusing stories, editing choices that are to an astoundingly degree awkward, but hey, it looks pretty. The only movie I actually could really tolerate that I thought was actually pretty fun was Speed Racer of all things, and that was only because I was a fan of the cartoon and the PlayStation game. But with The Matrix, it just kind of slipped past me, and I've never really thought about watching it all the way through. It's kind of like the Godfather trilogy. Great series of movies, but I just haven't had time to really fully watch them, or understand the point of them.
Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, you never see Robert Duvall!
I mean, granted, I did sit through the entire trilogy as a kid, because my parents did raise me on a lot of classic films.
Can't believe Angelica saw that movie last night.
She only saw a scene or two. It couldn't have made an impression.
Bob, Father, we found this in our crib.
But this particular franchise is something I just don't think I'll ever get into. Especially given the fact that this movie is partially responsible for the amount of annoying conspiracy nutball websites out there. Trust me, you talk to an anti-vaxxer and they'll tell you The Matrix is based on a true goddamn story. They are totally taking those fucking pills.
This whole plan is insane! Insane, I tell you!
So when it comes to the hype for the fourth film in the franchise, The Matrix Resurrection, which... guys, you know with a title like that, especially for a fourth movie, that this is probably gonna suck. I mean, how many sequels to a franchise do you know that has the subtitle Resurrections is actually good? Okay, to be fair, that one is growing a bit more positivity, but either or, it's a terrible subtitle for a sequel, but I can understand why the Wachowskis want to keep consistency with their titles of the previous sequels. But that's not mainly why I'm not hyped for this one. It's not just the fact that I'm not a fan of these filmmakers, it's not just the fact that I really don't care for this franchise, it's just the fact that you guys know what's coming when the movie comes out, right? Well, guys, it looks like Hollywood has once again bowed down to Communist China.
Social justice warriors once again ruined another one of my manly franchises. Why do I look like Psycho Dad?
You're in here 24/7. Dad!
They ruined Neo's character. Holy fuck, you decrepit, expired circus clowns. Just what the fuck?
And this is why we don't let the lower class have nice things.
And here we go with the politics.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it right now. You're gonna be seeing a lot of video essays of people saying woke culture has struck again. They ruined this established franchise. They're bending the world to foreign countries and economies. How many times have we heard this story over and over again? Every time there's an upcoming sequel to an established franchise, there's always the hack reporting from the quartering or an unbridled rage from Mueller, which, to be fair, I'd rather watch Mueller because his reviews are actually funny and thoroughly entertaining. I mean, he's the reason I hate Fallen Kingdom so goddamn much. But regardless, this is probably gonna happen given Hollywood's track record and standards at this point. They're just not gonna change and bend the will to these whiny entitled fanboys that just want to see every franchise be a man's franchise. And my response is pretty simple. Yes, you can make a bunch of video essays about these type of movies, and that's great. They're educational and they can be quite funny. But to the people who are ready to bounce on the keyboard and basically say that The Matrix Resurrections is going to be the worst movie ever made in another tarnished franchise, here's my response. Instead of bitching about it, why don't you just go to Hollywood and pitch and make the damn movie yourself? It's why today's Hollywood standards I just can never get into, and nowadays I'm really cautious about certain franchises getting rebooted with sequels or reunions because they just always end up being disappointing. And God forbid, the only thing that sells tickets to today's movie-going audience is complete and utter nostalgia and member berries.
Remember Boba Fett?
Gotta give it up for Boba Fett.
I do remember Boba Fett.
Give it up for the man in the Mandalorian armor, ladies and gentlemen.
So when I say make the damn movie yourself, taking a quote from one of my favorite books by Lloyd Kaufman, what I'm saying is if you want franchises to be good again, people, you gotta support the small timers. Support those who make fan films. Hell, even support those who make those weird fan fiction ideas that you see on YouTube of these what ifs and so on, because that's actually started to really catch on. Hell, you remember that guy who did that improved deep fake of Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian? Well, that guy's now working for Lucasfilm, doing that kind of stuff.
Listen, if you were to rescue her, the reward would be... what? Well, more wealth than you can imagine.
It's the same thing with The Last Jedi. Okay, I will get to reviewing The Last Jedi at some point in the future, but my point being is that all those people who tried to crowdfund and get a remake going a couple years ago when that movie was said to be the worst Star Wars thing of all time, well, instead of just giving the free money to Lucasfilm, why don't you just remake the damn movie yourself? That's what I did with King Kong. I took the 1996 draft, which I thought was the better movie, and came out with my own creative product. And I would advise anybody else who wants these remakes and sequels that they want done to do the same thing. Take your ideas, take your preconceptions, and make them your own damn movie. Hell, maybe even make it part of the franchise as a fan film. If you do that, you can maybe come up with a better product than what Hollywood has done. Some prime examples being that Star Wars Theory Vader fan film, which is absolutely fantastic, and probably the most historically famous Batman Dead End, aka Batman vs. Alien vs. Predator. Like, you won't see Hollywood make a movie like that, and only through the power of fandom and independent filmmaking can you get something like that, and therefore, some of these guys might end up working in the business making actually good movies for a franchise. There is literally a buzzsaw being made as I record this. So yeah, call me disinterested on this Matrix sequel. Hell, I think I'm more hyped for Spider-Man than I am The Matrix, only because of the amount of leaks that have come out and actually got me interested in this damn movie. So for everybody who's super excited for The Matrix Resurrections, hey, more power to you. Hope you enjoyed the film. Just know what to expect with Hollywood standards and what to expect from the internet after this movie comes out. And if you really want to support good content, support those in the independent field. In fact, I'm seeing a lot of people do that nowadays, given Hollywood's track record. And what do you know, there's actually some decent movies that have come out from the independent filmmaking scene. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. This is kind of like that Godzilla vs. Kong video I made a couple months ago prior to the movie's release, and I kind of enjoyed making that tiny little video, plus it got me a couple of thousand views on YouTube, which is good for the algorithm gods. So who knows, maybe I'll do these sort of improv video essay kind of things in the future. This is just me kind of spreading my opinion about a particular franchise, and just telling people not to get too overexcited, but this is a conversation, so let me know your thoughts about The Matrix Resurrections and the franchise in the comments below. And also, don't forget to support our Patreon. Just $1 more will get you access to all of our content, as well as other special features. And while you're at it, watch my YouTube review show. It's actually a pretty entertaining series, and it's given me a niche to basically do fan films mixed with reviews. So until the next video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off, saying, I don't have a catchphrase for this particular set of videos or series, and I don't know, just go see the movie if you want, but really, I don't care. See you later.